come into my sunken dining room and I can come to my ceiling height, my default is set to a box, correct?
Yes.
I can go ahead and tell it that I want to do a sloped ceiling. What happened when I hit my tab key?
It gave you a tall wall.
It gave me a short wall and a tall wall.
Right.
Sloped in Xact means sloped. Don't confuse it with a peaked. We have a short wall and we have a tall wall, okay? Do you see your picture? I'm highlighting short wall. It's telling me, hey you, this is a short wall. If I click onto my tall wall, it tells me what I need to measure for my tall wall. Now, as funny as that is, when we get to the peaked ceiling, you're really going to appreciate the fact that they tell you what it is they're referring to. In this instance, let's go ahead and say our short wall is 8 feet and our tall wall is 12 feet.
So we do want it on slope.
So all I did was change my tall wall to 12. And what changed on my sketch? I owe nothing. You sure about that?
Arrow.
I have an arrow. Well, let's look at that in 3D.
Oh, to show you what.
It's telling me that that's the direction of my slope. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and set it to a slope.
Short wall was 8. Short wall was 8.
How do you change the direction? How do you change the direction?
We're going to get there.
Oh, the short wall is 8 and the tall wall is 12.
Mm-hmm.
Short wall is just 8. Is it gonna change from 8 to 7 to 8?
The short wall is 8. The tall wall is 12.
Oh, okay. That's not 8, 7, but 8. Yeah.
Now, the question is, what happens if our slope is going the wrong direction? We talked about an orientation tool when we were going over staircases, correct? So if we were to go out and get our orientation, which the shortcut key is N as in Nancy, you see what it put on my cursor? It's an arrow, a direction. All I have to do is hover to the wall that I need to show the direction of the slope. All I would need to do. If I click it into place, it now changes the direction of my slope.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Do you want us to do that?
Play with it. Let it go whichever direction you want it to. And and remember, we know that by hovering over it, and it will tell us what that shortcut key is. Remember, it's always available to us. Ready to move on? Pretty cool, right? Slope ceiling, great. Let's go ahead and add our great room as shown on page 129. What are we going to do? We're going to highlight the foyer and do what? Talk to me. Drag? What am I going to do? What am I dragging? Oh, my stars. If I drag that handle, what happens?
Makes it bigger.
It changes the room to be a larger room. What do I need to do?
Control.
Y'all keep forgetting about my best friend.
Oh, you can do it up to then.
Is everyone there?
Yes.
Pretty easy, coming back to you? Great. Everyone pull that room up. 18.4. So now what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to open the property of the great room. And I want you to change the ceiling to a peaked ceiling. Now I want you to truly understand the difference between a sloped ceiling and a peaked ceiling. A peaked ceiling means that both walls come to what? A point or a peak. Absolutely. The system says we still have a short wall and a tall wall. Do they have to be different measurements? No, they can be identical, right? Look what happens when I say click on distance to peak. It is measuring from which wall?
The short wall.
The short wall. Now, remember, you're out in the field and you can't remember what's what. You've taken your measurements, not sure what to use. The minute you go in here and you click on, it's going to tell you what measurement you need to be using to define the distance to the peak.
By the red line.
The red line is exactly what is showing us our measurements. Okay? So in this instance, we're going to look at our peak height. Well, let's see. Our distance to the peak, we're going to get there. Let's do a peak height of 17. The distance to the peak automatically went to the center. Why? Can you guess? Look at our short wall and tall wall. They're identical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the assumption is that the distance to the peak must be what? In the middle. Because I don't have a defined short wall or a tall wall. Now, look at it in 3D, my friends. Does everyone have that great room, and does everyone have that peaked ceiling?
Yes.
Yes.
Could I change the orientation of that peaked ceiling if I wanted to?
Yes.
Absolutely. Moving on. You're going to see how quick you're going to be drawing today. What else did we use yesterday that everyone had a great time playing with?
Stairs.
Stairs. And what is our shortcut key for that custom staircase? C. There's my stairs. I haven't placed them yet. Which direction is up and how do I know? The cursor defines the way up. So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to start about 4 foot. Place it. One time, click places it, remember? One click to place. Then I scroll up. I let it stop on its own. I'm going to click one time to place. It's one time to place. And then I can continue with my measurement. Do I need the additional landing per the instruction in the book? No. What do I hit?
Escape.
Escape. Great.
Voila.
Now I want to bring something to your attention. When everyone gets their name tags up on the side, because this is really important. Remember how I've told you that anytime we have a joint, we should only see one handle, correct? How many did mine actually create? Created two. You see them? I've got two plus signs, don't I?
Oh, okay.
Lori, how do we correct that? I'm just gonna have to grab my wall and bring it down, and did you see how it snapped two? I now have one plus sign, which tells me everything is plumb and in alignment. Yours may not do that. Remember yesterday when I was plumbing the staircase, I was like, darn, it didn't do it. One time it did, one time it didn't. If it does, you need to know how to identify it. What was my giveaway? My measurement was showing 210, and this one was showing 3 foot.
Oh, wait a minute.
Can you go back?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jill. Sorry, guys, I sneeze a lot.
See, when I do my curve, it don't go.
Are you clicking to place? You have to click to
Yeah, I
place.
click when you click, and then when it
Are you
goes
double clicking or clicking once?
once, you double click
No, double click closes it.
right here, so you single click. When I single click, it just goes to that.
Are you letting it snap up to the furthest point it can, accept that, then go up into your landing? Let me ask you this, Akita, are you clicking it both times in the staircase, or did you click it once in the staircase and once in the landing? You have to move to the landing, because that's what you're telling it you're accepting. Does everyone understand what I was just saying? No, Lori, we're totally lost. Okay. If I'm going up,
So click it now.
let it click. I clicked once. It snapped up to where it needs to be, right, to allow that landing?
That's
I click
mine
to
is
accept.
on-
I go up to the landing. I'm saying, yes, I want that landing. I'm going to click in there. If I click back in the staircase, what does it do? It closes it, because I've done basically the same thing as a double click in that staircase.
Which takes away the landing.
Takes
Yes,
away
I
the
wasn't
landing.
clicking in the landing.
Yep.
Okay, I got the 210.
Okay.
One.
Lord, what does it mean when your landing does not stop automatically? Mine just continues.
You might be actually pushing the mouse. If you're going a little slower, you slow down the speed of your mouse, you are going to have the opportunity to see it snap. Otherwise, you can push right through it and not even know it.
Lori?
Y'all bear with me. Someone asked me to redo this and show.
Yeah.
So see again, I have a measurement of 210 and 3.
Right.
That was my giveaway. I'm just going to highlight my staircase, grab my handle, and did you see how it automatically pulled down to snap? It recognized that there was a joint there that it needed to be a party to. Who's having difficulties?
Was the stairs supposed to go all the way up?
Nope. Look at the drawing.
Oh,
Okay, now, I don't have that on the phone. You don't have that thing. Right, I didn't have it before, but you guys should must have walked. It was on time.
but you're supposed to have like some kind of joint
That's it.
Okay, so you got the 210. I want you to enlarge that. Just enlarge it. Scroll up.
Okay.
So many little nuances. Click this wrong.
Okay, so you're two.
Maybe I should be in your.
You've got two on there.
No.
Are you going to do?
This will be outside.
No, I'm gonna have to make myself actually go through this first couple chapters.
Okay.
Try it.
Who else needs some help?
It is. It was the first day.
You only have one. You're fine.
Everybody's from that
Yep,
first
so
day.
yours actually came in.
You're good, you're good, fine.
No, you don't. You have two. See them? 2 and 2. You got to scroll in and look.
I
Slow
know,
down.
I get freaked out.
Slow down.
See,
I just don't
You
want
have
to
to-
behind the key. That's why I'm.
we're just gonna highlight that, grab, and let it pull down into save.
Okay, wait, so if I pull my chair, I just move it down.
Yeah.
I didn't move it wrong.
You need to start over. So you actually came up above the room?
Yeah, I wasn't looking at the.
Okay. Oh, well, make sure that room height is correct. Actually, I think,
Yeah, the room height was, no, unless I pushed it, but.
yeah, you only pulled the staircase over too far.
Mhm.
So actually, pull here.
But if I pull it, it's moving.
Yeah, take this, yeah, there we go. But I'm gonna say that's fine. Okay, now, grab that wall and break it up.
Oh.
The parking lot by the.
Okay, so there was an announcement that if you're parked in the parking lot behind the cafeteria,
Yeah, they're asking people to move their cars. You have
you
to
need
like
to move your car.
set up something for tomorrow.
Got it?
All right. The ones that right there behind me.
You take the staircase. You can't get the link.
This would be the front.
Okay.
And the caf, like, you know, the one next door, the parking lot back there is the playground.
Okay, grab that wall.
Right, they only see the nurses and they're clean.
And actually, this is-
That's not helping, it's training rooms. Right.
Okay, now go ahead and do the staircase.
What part, what's the part?
Go up into there quick once. Now move to the
So did you take a position or do you?
The whole key is sitting on the staircase. And then you have to go on landing. You're accepting each. So, listen, guys, a staircase, even a landing, if you were to actually break these down, a staircase is the equivalent of a room. The landing is the equivalent of a room. The next staircase is the equivalent of a room. It's just that by us using the staircase tool, we've actually defined which direction it's going. It's automatically measuring for us, telling us how high everything should be before it starts the next level. That's the benefit of us having this tool to use at one time. So when you think in those terms, it means that when we're clicking to accept, it'd be the same thing as accepting each room as we're building it. Okay? So if you double click in that staircase, if you bring that staircase up and that landing's up there, or you click on the staircase, set the staircase, and the landing pops up, and you haven't moved your cursor up to the landing, then you're still in the staircase, right? You're still in that same room, and the minute you click, you release it. So you have to move to each area that you're designing, okay? Does everyone understand that? And okay, so we're gonna scroll.
Brown controls.